Okay, well, it is just after 10, so I think we should get started. And on this beautiful summer day, I have one of my favorite themes, creating our practice around a favorite poem of mine. So come settle into your yogic seat. And maybe just that settling in can mean just a little bit of wiggling side to side till you feel that nice base of support under your sitting bones, that triangle between the coccyx, the tailbone, and the two ischial tuberosities, it's just a fancy anatomical way of saying your sitting bones. Maybe even taking the flesh of the buttocks and removing it a little bit so you can really feel that base of support. From there, you root down, connect with beautiful Mother Earth through your root. And energetically, we would say that Muladhara, or root chakra, is connecting with Earth. And from that base of support, let your spine lengthen up, inviting a little space in between each of the vertebrae in your spine, rolling the shoulders back and down, letting the heart expand, feeling that sense of that heart chakra, the anahata, just opening a little bit like a beautiful lotus flower. You can use whatever imagery, maybe just a light expanding like the sun in your heart, or a beautiful flower opening. And lengthening through the back of the neck so the chin stays tucked or just level or slightly tucked, so you can feel that beautiful line of the spine from tailbone all the way through the back of the neck, all the way up through the crown of the head. Lift that crown to the sky as a way of connecting with that which is expansive and vast and infinite and endless. So between that sense of groundedness and rootedness in the earth and that vast, endless, open expanse of infinity through the sky, you've got that beautiful lotus of the heart opening wide. That bridge point, the heart chakra, is known as the bridge between the concrete world and the ethereal world. Take a deep breath in, filling all the way up into the chest. In through the nose, sip it in a little bit more. See if you can drink in a little bit more, like a vessel being filled all the way up to the brim. Pause, hold, savor that, and then exhale with a sigh, with just a and see with that sigh if you can invite in a little bit more softening. A little bit more letting go in the shoulders and the muscles around the face and the eyes, or in the belly maybe, just wherever it is that they're maybe holding in tension. Let's do that again. Inhale, sip in. And if you think you're full, let's see if you can get a little bit more full. Sometimes we underestimate our capacity for holding that life force. Hold, drink it in, feel all that tingling of prana streaming through you, and then exhale. Soften and let go anything in the mind that may be pulling at your attention. And one more round of that, slowly lifting, opening the belly, the ribs, the chest, filling up a little bit more, all the way to the brim. Fullness of breath equals fullness of life. Hold, 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 and then release anything in the emotional and heart realm that needs to be offered out, that doesn't need to be here. And then let your eyes close and just begin to invite in that sacred rhythm of breath that begins in the belly, lifts through the ribs and up into the chest, through the nose. And a long, measured out breath through the nose as well. A little bit of contraction in the back of the throat so the breath makes that whisper sound, ujjayi. Filling from bottom to top. Exhaling from top to bottom. And as you continue with your yogic breaths, I invite you to just receive these beautiful words from the poet Mary Oliver. Her poem entitled "The Summer Day." Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? So in this poem, Mary Oliver speaks about praying as being the act of paying careful, exquisite attention to the miracle of everything that comes into our sensory awareness, whether it be a breath, whether it be an insect or a flower. Being able to see an entire universe in one little blade of grass. In yoga, we pay attention to each movement and every breath with that same exquisite reverence and come into a state of presence with ourselves. So I invite you to come into your yoga practice today as a prayer in the same way, cultivating a deep sense of wonder and awe at your own body and all of the sensations that are alive in it, exactly as it is today. Coming into that sacred intimacy with your own breath. Make this a practice of delight-filled exploration of your own aliveness. And with that as our collective intention, let's bring the hands together in front of the heart. And let's join our voices with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And with a soft gaze, let the eyes open. Remove your cushion, and we'll just take a little bit of shaking out the legs first. So extend the legs in front of you, coming into Dandasana pose, and just give them a little shake. A little pat down, going down the outside of the legs. Maybe getting the bottoms of the feet, coming up the inside of the legs, and get the top of the legs Maybe giving a little massage to the backs of the legs. And once again, extending them, point and flex the feet. Circle out, toes in opposite directions. Begin to wake up the ankles. Circle inward. And then coming back into your Dandasana, lengthen up. See if you can power up that Dandasana by lifting your lower ribs away from your pelvic bowl, rolling the shoulders back and down, spreading the heart. Just taking a moment here to feel the power of this pose. It's like mountain pose with the hips jackknifed. And then swinging the legs around back behind you, come into your child's pose. So very slowly, let the sitting bones soften back to the heels. Let the forehead come down to the mat or to a folded blanket or block if you need that. Your knees can be wide or together. Hands reached out in that extended child, if that feels comfortable for you, or hands at your sides. And see if you can find a little bit of widening in the area of the shoulder blades in the upper back as you lay the forearms and elbows down. And take a little bit of turning the armpits toward one another, and you'll probably feel that spread a little bit between the shoulder blades. Stay connected with lots of breath here. And you can also try the opposite movement with the shoulder blades by coming up onto your fingertips, lifting your palms so that you make spider fingers with your fingers pointed straight down, so that the entire arms lift off, and now you can let the heart sink down toward the earth a little bit more, finding that little release between the shoulder blades. And as you take the next few moments, few breaths in your child's pose, let it be in that spirit of kneeling down in the grass, to be idle and blessed, paying exquisite attention. Letting every in-breath be a savoring of this one wild and precious life. Every out-breath being a let go, a letting go of the moment that is finished, so you can be open to the next one. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? On the next inhale, rising up slowly into table pose, bring the knees under the hips, and take your cat-cow spinal waves. And in this sequence, which you've done thousands of times in yoga practice, see if you can discover something that you haven't noticed before about your spine, about your breath, about your body in this sequence of cat and cow. Maybe something very subtle in the way the spine moves, in the way the skin on the front body stretches, in the way the shoulders feel when you pull them back on that inhale. In the way the tail tucks on the exhale. And then bringing the spine to neutral, walk the hands forward just a couple of inches so you have a little bit more room to circle the hips. And again, coming into that spirit of loving exquisite attention to the sensations that come alive in you today, in your hips. Circle the other way. Coming to center, we'll take it into the seal pose. So bring the shoulders over the wrist, just bend the elbows a little bit. As you come forward onto your thighs, big toes come together, heels slowly draw toward the low back. I'm going to take a little bit more arch of the back, letting the pelvis just hover maybe an inch or two over the mat. Maybe it'll be higher up for you, that's okay. Just gradually opening into deeper back bends here. Soften the shoulders, spread the heart. Look up, seal pose. Big inhale, just really enjoy that lengthening of the front body. Exhale, press away into your cat. Pull the navel in. Again, coming into your seal pose. See if it feels any different the second time. Exhale, cat stretch, press away. And one more time. Seal. Maybe you can let that pelvis sink a little bit lower toward the earth here. The shoulders pull a little further back and slide down the back body. Exhale, press away. Take it right back into your child. See if your child pose feels any different now, that we're creating more openings in the spine, in the low back, in the whole torso, in the hips. And on the next inhale, rising up back into your table pose, spread the palms wide, toes curl under, and press back into your downward facing dog. Slowly, one heel then the other presses into the earth, other knee bends. Keep pressing down and away into the fingers and thumbs. Engage that Uddiyana Bandha abdominal lift. Lift the sacrum, lower the heart. Savoring each breath. Bringing the shoulders over the wrists, arm bones stack, coming into your plank pose. Nice and firm core, firm legs. Take a little reverse shrug with the shoulders so that there isn't any inadvertent scrunching. Exhale back into your downward facing dog. So we're going to take a few rounds of this. Inhaling plank. Exhaling downward facing dog. If you're needing something gentler, you can always come down to your knees and do a knee down plank to child. And that's inviting some energy to come into the arms and shoulders and chest and core. Next time you come into your plank pose, hold here, look under the body, make sure you're in one long line, rather than letting the hips sag down or butt stick up in the air. So it might be that you need to slide your feet back a little bit, toes curled under, press back through your heels. And then we'll lower down, knees, chest, and chin, buttocks up in the air, hands under the shoulders, elbows drawn in toward the ribs. Inhale, take your cobra. You can make it a low cobra, full cobra if that feels yummy for you. Remember, whatever cobra you're doing, this time the pelvis is rooted down into the mat. Exhale, release. Press up through your table and back into your down dog. Let's take that 2 more times at your own pace, that connecting vinyasa. Inhaling plank. Exhaling knees, chest, chin. This pose is kind of like a grasshopper, isn't it? Inhale, Cobra, low or full. Exhale, downward facing dog. And one more on your own. Meeting in downward facing dog or child is always available if you need it. Press the low belly toward the tops of the thighs. Juice that up a little bit. Spread your sitting bones apart a little bit. And we're going to step through. What we're going to do actually is come right into a pigeon pose. So first, take it into a three-legged dog. Right leg lifts back behind you. So you've got that unbroken, beautiful long line from fingers to toes on the right side. As you exhale, bring your right knee behind your right wrist. And we'll just start with a little bit of a pigeon dance side to side. Check back behind you. Make sure your back leg is straight back, knee down, so there isn't an external rotation of the thigh. You want to have that knee straight down and top of the foot straight down. Bring your hands under your shoulders, come up on fingertips or fists, and just take that little dancing pigeon here. Maybe shimmying the shoulders slowly side to side, giving your glutes a little bit of a massage. You don't need to put a blanket underneath because you're supporting yourself with your hands here, really well supported, and we're just kind of giving those glutes a massage, maybe lifting and lowering. And then you can square the shoulders and take a little bit of a dolphin wave here, leading with the heart down, imagining a string behind your heart, lifting you up. And then we're going to take it into a side Janushasana, head to knee pose, or actually revolved Janushasana. So swivel the hips. You're going to come onto your right buttock, keep your right knee bent, and swivel the hips open toward the long end of your mat. You've got your left leg extended back behind you, and roll the thigh open, so knee and toe point straight up. Draw that right heel, I'm not mirroring you here, okay. Draw that right heel in toward your pelvis. Inhale, right hand to the sky. So we're gonna invite that length along the side body here, and then take it into a lovely side bend with both sitting bones rooting down into the mat. You can either grab your foot with your toe, your ankle, your calf. Inhale, lift up. We're going to take that again. Just get a little bit more length here without doing the shoulder scrunch. And then try it again. See if you can get a little bit deeper, longer. Reach those right fingertips past the short end of your mat. And then lift up. And we'll take it one more time. This time, we can take that revolved action by bringing your lower arm inside your thigh or knee, either pressing the back of the hand inside the leg or even grabbing your toe. And as you use that arm with leverage inside your leg, it invites the torso to roll open. That's where you get the pavrita, revolved Janushasana. Look up at the sky if you can. So you're growing long from your tailbone to your fingertips on your right side, and torso's rotating open with that leverage from your left arm. Exhale, release and float that right palm down. Let it press into the mat to bring you up into a half circle, long line from your left toes to your left fingertips. Grow long tippy toes to fingertips. Press the hips forward. You may want to come up onto fist or fingertips on your lower hand. And take 3 big sweeping circles with that upper arm. It's that good to be alive gesture. This is your one wild and precious life. Grow long one more time. Big breath in, and then we're going to float the hips down, back into that preparation for Janushasana, but we're going to take it into a twist now. As the extended leg crosses over, foot comes to the opposite side of your right thigh. All right, you with me? Okay. So we're going to wrap the right arm around the left leg and take it into a seated twist. It doesn't have to be your deepest twist here. Just a little bit of inviting rotation of the spine. As a matter of fact, let's take it into a twist on the exhale. Inhale, release, bring the hands to the other side of your mat. Bow down, forehead comes down, so we take a twist to the other side. Back into the twist toward your left. Lengthening up, root to crown. Exhale, twist, other side, bow down. And one more time, twisting left, lengthening up. Exhale, twisting right and bow down. And then here, we're going to unwind that left leg back behind you. Bring your hands to the front of your mat, facing forward, and we'll just swivel and pivot into that pigeon pose one more time. Hopefully you're back facing forward with your right knee bent in pigeon. Back toes curl under, press back into downward facing dog. Oh, just notice the difference between your right and left side here. And on your own, flow through your connecting vinyasa. So for some of you, you might be raring to go with chaturanga, lowering down, coming upward facing dog if your body's open to it, back to down dog. Otherwise, take the knees, chest, chin, meeting in downward facing dog. Take a long, slow, deep breath in, and exhale, release. We're going to take that sequence on the other side. Swing the left leg back behind you. Keep pressing down and forward into the fingers and thumbs to stay long. As you exhale, bring the left knee behind the left wrist. And walk your right foot back. Plant the knee and the top of the foot straight down into the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders, fists or fingertips. And taking that dancing pigeon. Square the hips to the front so that both hip pointers are level with one another. Roll the shoulders down the back body so the shoulder blades are going to slide down your back. And take that, those dolphin waves. Nice, beautiful undulations of the spine. And then from here, one more, we're going to pivot open. So you're coming into your preparation for Jana Shirshasana. You're seeing me doing it from the back now because I'm on the other side. And your heel on your left leg is going to be close to the pubic bone. Center yourself on your sit bones. Knee and toes point straight up here. And try to let this leg extend out to the side as much as you can. Inhale, your left arm rises, reach up. Find that length, and then take it into that side bend. Breathe into that for a moment as you reach long. Inhale up to center, and take it again. See if it feels any different. Keep rooting your left sitting bone down into the mat. Grabbing ankle or foot or calf. Lift up, and one more time, this time we'll take it into that pavrita. So if it feels available, forearm or elbow inside that extended leg, give it a little press, and that will help the torso. Rotate open, reach long with those left fingers past the short end of your mat, past your foot. Shoulder rolls open, look up at the sky if you can. Another option that you can take here is you can reach that upper hand back behind you and see if you can bind here. That will juice up the pavrita part, the rotation part. That's just one option you can try in this pose. Releasing, float that left hand down and sweep right up into a half circle. Tippy toes to fingertips grow long. Your bottom hand come up a little bit on fingertip or fist and take those 3 big circles. Celebrating this one wild and precious life. Remember, let the movement of the arm roll the whole torso open. So your heart turns, your shoulders turn, your belly turns to face the sky. And then slowly coming down onto your buttocks again. From here, we'll take it into a twist. So your extended leg, which is your right leg this time, is going to draw around to the other side. You'll take it into a twist. I know you're seeing me from the back now, but sometimes that's a good thing to see what the pose looks like from the back. And then releasing, bringing your hands to the front end of your mat, bow down, exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale into the twist to your right. Release, bow down, other side. One more round. Twist right. Twist left. And then unwinding your leg. And bring your hands to the front of your mat, fingers pointed toward the front. Take that little pivot so you're back into your pigeon pose here. All right. Hopefully you're facing the front of your mat. You didn't get turned around or somewhere else. But here we are, pigeon facing forward with the left knee bent. Curl the right toes under, press back to downward facing dog. And flow through your vinyasa as you choose. Yogi's Choice Vinyasa. Meet in downward facing dog. And then walk the feet between the hands to come into a forward bend. Just let it all hang out. I think I'm ready to take off a layer here. As you fold over the legs, keep the belly and thighs closely connected. Listen to your body as far as how much bend you need in your knees. Invite length in the neck, the cervical spine as you find some movement of the head. And then we'll take a half lift, sliding the hands up the shins, press fingertips just below the knees to lengthen out. Reverse shrug with the shoulders flat back. Your spine is parallel to the floor. Big inhale, spread the sit bones wide, core lift. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees, let the arms rise like the sun as you press the feet into the earth, reach the fingers to the sky, palms together, and return to the heart. Pause and notice how you feel. Just bring your hands down to your sides for a moment and turn your palms open. So you just have a moment to feel what you've invited in, what's alive in you now. This is prana. Once again, hands return to the heart. Take a deep breath in. Fill all the way up into the chest. Exhale through the nose completely, drawing the navel in toward the spine. On the next inhale, the arms rise with the breath. Reach through the right, reach through the left. Heart, hands, gaze, turn toward the sky as you arch back, standing back bend. Exhale, dive deep, forward bend. Inhale, half lift, flat back, firm core. Exhale, fold, step back with the right foot into a low lunge. Firm up your front knee over your ankle, slide your right knee back. Inner thighs toward the center line to give you stability. And then hands sweep forward and up in that kneeling warrior with that core lift. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down under the shoulders, fold back into a runner stretch. Lengthening out through the whole back body, folding from the hip crease, leading with the heart. I'm going to take that into a flow here. So as you inhale, foot rolls down, foot comes flat, knee comes over ankle as you lift up into your kneeling warrior. Exhale, folding back into your runner stretch. And as you do that with breath, opening, you can even open the heart a little bit more by bending the elbows and see if you can bring them to meet behind your back, arching back, looking up, and then folding into your runners. So take that exploration with the depth that's comfortable for you. Some of you just might want to have your hands down and come forward into lunge with support, with hands on a block or fingertips, folding back into runners. It doesn't matter. Let it be your own exploration of what feels joyful for you this morning. And the next time you lift up, once again, find that Uddiyana Bandha lift, root the tail down, exhale, hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers, spread the heart nice and wide. Squeeze the shoulder blades toward the center, spread the heart. Big breath, feel that lotus open a little bit wider. And release. Hands frame the front foot, step back to plank, flow through vinyasa as you choose. Meeting in downward facing dog. Here the right leg lifts back behind you, three-legged dog lifted high. Exhale, step it through, coming into low lunge. Slide left knee back, soften shoulders, lengthen spine. We're going to take that same sequence, first rising up into your kneeling warrior. Notice what comes alive in the psoas muscle, right here in the front of the hip flexor. It goes all the way up into your, connects into your pelvis. It's down the front of the thigh, really important to create length here. And find your flow coming into runner stretch. Extending that right leg, flexing the foot, toes point straight up. And either using your arms sweeping wide open, try to meet your elbows behind your body. They're not going to touch, most likely. It's just a direction to open the heart. Or keeping that sequence gentler and simpler. With hands down the whole time, find what serves you best right here and right now. And on the next one, once again, we'll open the lotus of the heart as you reach up, drop shoulders down a little bit more, hands meet back behind you. Open the heart wide. If it feels good to arch back and look up, you can do that. Reach the interlaced fingers to the back edge of your mat. Big breath and release. Frame the front foot, step the back foot up, come into a half forward bend, feet hip width apart. Flat back, inhale, exhale, fold. Arms sweep up like the rising sun, palms come together. Return slowly down the center line of the body to the heart. Inhale, arms reach and rise, arch back. Exhale, deep dive. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back on the next inhale. You're in a high lunge now. So take a little pulse, straightening the front leg as if there's a string behind your heart. Remember, the core lifts in and up as the back rounds. Feel like that sense of being a puppet on a string right behind the heart. Chin tucks. Exhale, land in your lunge. Lengthen out a little more from heel to crown. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, land. Feel that string lifting you up behind the heart. Inhale. Exhale, land. And then from here, spin the back heel, left heel inward 45 degrees. Check your alignment, heel to instep, and bring the right forearm to the right thigh. We're going to open up into an extended side angle, growing long from the outer edge of your left foot to your fingertips, drawing the left shoulder down to be level with the other one. So there's not a scrunching happening here. Firm core, stack the top hip, left hip on top of right, grow long. And then from here, on the exhale, we're going to wheel right up into a warrior two, drawing outside edge of that right knee toward the right end of your mat. Soften the shoulders and lengthen out right through the heart center. Shoulders right over hips. We're going to take it into a flow here, turning the front palm up, take it into your dancing warrior, another wonderful side stretch. Inhale, exhale back through warrior two. Inhale back into your extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, dancing. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, side angle, extended side angle. And you can play with that a few more times. This time you can also play with a different way to do dancing warrior. Some people like to grab the back of the head or take it into a bind if that feels good. Maybe hand on the hip instead of hand down the back leg. See how you can play. You can even play with taking a bind in your side angle pose. So breathe and enjoy. If your front leg gets fatigued, you can straighten it for a moment and just pulse. Let it be your own exploration of power and grace. And next time you come into that dancing warrior, we're going to exhale right through warrior two. Cartwheel the arms down. Square the hips to the front as you come back into your lunge on the ball of your left foot. Left hand presses down under the shoulder. Take it into a revolved side angle twist. Exhale, release. Step back into plank. Flow through vinyasa. Maybe that means a rest in child's pose. Maybe chaturanga up dog. Meeting in downward facing dog. Check what's happening in the belly right now. Where can you release and relax, and where can you engage a little more? That's the juxtaposition we work with. Finding that balance of letting go and release and creating that firm support that protects your spine. Inhale, peacefully up back behind you. Big breath, heart stays low. Exhale, step it through high lunge. See if you can land quietly so there's no thud. And slide that right heel back a little bit, firm up, power up that back leg so the knee crease lifts to the sky. Being on fingertips or blocks, find that pulse. You're a puppet on a string right behind your heart. Exhale, land and lengthen. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lengthen. Ujjayi breath here. Okay, one more. And then spinning the right heel inward. Check your alignment here. Check your alignment of your knee over your ankle. So you don't want the knee to be too far back. Bringing the left forearm to the thigh. If you can see me, you can see that there's an unbroken diagonal from the outside edge of my right foot right through my right fingertips. I'm stacking my shoulders on top of one another, my hips on top of one another. I've got that core lift supporting my spine. I'm growing a little bit longer from heel to fingers and drawing that top shoulder down away from the ear. On the exhale, I'm going to wheel up right into that warrior two and take it into dancing warrior. Exhale, back to warrior two. And if you feel fatigued, take a break by straightening that front leg. And exhale, land into it. Listen to your body. Your hips are squared to the long end of your mat here. At the same time, there's that dynamic tension of drawing your knee toward the outer edge of your mat on the left side. And play with dancing on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Extended side angle on the inhale, maybe playing with bind, so you'll do another breath cycle here. Explore and enjoy. Play with different variations of dancing warrior. Grabbing the back of the head with elbow to the sky. So lovely juxtaposition of power and gracefulness here. And one more, dancing warrior. Next time you come through warrior two, we'll wheel it down and come right into the revolved side angle. Be on the ball of your right foot. Lift left hand to the sky. Exhale, release. Step the back foot up to meet the front foot. Half forward bend, inhale. Exhale, release, fold. Soften the knees and sweep up. Palms come together. Exhale back to the heart. How are you all doing? I think we should take it into some balance right now because I don't know about you, but I don't have any air conditioning in my space. So maybe we shouldn't do too much of a yang practice today. But we will do a little bit of challenge in our balance today, which can be very sweat building as well. And then we'll take it down to a little bit more yin part of our practice. So let's take a balanced flow where I'm going to face forward here, but you come to the front of your mat and find your mountain pose, shoulders aligned over the hips, and those two hip pointers right here, those bony protrusions on the front of the hips, are going to line up with the knees, which line up with the ankles. Toes straight ahead, the outer edges of your feet line up with the outer edges of your mat. Those of you who've been practicing with me for years now have heard me say this many times, but it's amazing how many times I need to remind people of those basic cues. So it just gives you an opportunity to just come back to those basics that sometimes our bodies can forget. So as you are in your steady and comfortable mountain pose, we're going to step it back gracefully. I'll mirror you here with your right foot. Step it back gracefully into a balancing warrior one pose. All right, so you're on the ball of your foot. Your hips are squared to the front, parallel, level with the front of your mat. Tailbone is tucked, hands reach to the sky. And get down into it a little bit. The legs are nice and warmed up now. Front knee over ankle. We'll take that, once again, that open heart, clasping fingers, shoulder blades toward the center, look up. It's a balance play right here. And then releasing the hands, open your wings. We'll spring right off into crane. Knee at hip height. A little unlocking of the standing leg, softening of the shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Focus your gaze into that spot on the floor where you can anchor your gaze. So maybe this is enough balance for you. Maybe dipping the toe in the water, the crane dipping its toe in, will be your practice to stay steady. Or you can take it into a figure four, maybe using the other hand to position right above your ankle to mid-thigh, coming into that balancing squat. Get that hip nice and open. We already did our pigeon warm-up, so it makes this pose a little bit more available. Get down into that squat. Oh yeah. Press the palms together. You can either stay here for a few more breaths. You can always come back to mountain whenever you need, or fold over the legs, hands frame the foot so your fingers are lined up with your toes. Straighten the standing leg, but don't lock the knee. Bring your nose toward your standing leg, and your whole torso folds in nice and close to your figure four shape. So legs and belly connect, crown reaches to the earth. And for extra challenge, see if you can bring one hand behind the calf. Maybe the other hand can come behind the calf, or maybe you need to keep some fingertips down, that's fine. Playing with free balance here. And then coming back into your balancing squat, opening up through your crane pose. Whew. And in for a landing. Back to the balance practice of samastiti. Equal balance on both feet. Wow. It's a strong one. That's a lovely one. And other side. And stepping back into your balancing warrior one, squaring your hips, rooting tailbone down, so that pubic bone is going to tilt forward just a little bit. Should feel the lengthening of the lumbar curve. Inhale, arms reach, fingers to the sky. It's good to be alive. Inhale. Exhale, hands clasped behind you, spread the heart nice and wide. Keep that back leg powered up as the hips sink a little bit lower. Open your wings and spring right off into your crane flight, taking flight. Remember, crane has elegant, gentle wings rather than stiff arms. Knee comes at hip height. Often what some people do in crane is they end up bringing their foot back toward their body. You just want the foot to hang so that the ankle and the knee stay aligned here. Either stay here, dip your toe in the water, or come into balancing pigeon squat. And you really want to get that external rotation of that hip by bringing the outside of your left knee, I'm mirroring you here, so yes, left knee toward the floor, hands in prayer, deepening into the squat. It's like a one-legged chair pose, but even juicier. And when you're ready, if you're ready, fold over into a standing figure four fold. Hands gently framing the standing leg. Do not lock the knee, but you don't have to bend it. You just keep it unlocked. Fold in nice and close, and then if it feels available to bring one hand and or the other to behind the calf, play with balance here. See if you can lift your sacrum a little bit higher. Oh yeah. And then releasing hands, come back into your prayer pose. Balancing squat, figure four, opening up into crane, and floating that leg down back into samastiti, palms open. So what I'd like to do now, that was a challenging balance sequence, and I'd like to give you a moment of yogi's choice to do the balance pose of your choice, so balance yogi's choice. So some of you might be raring to go with dancer pose. That's one option. I'm just giving you an option, some suggestions of options that you can take since our spine is nicely warmed up for back bends. Some of you may want to take a balancing half moon. So using a block is a helpful way of keeping the body in those two axes of horizontal and vertical, maybe taking a bow kick here. Some of you might want to do a gentler, more basic balance pose, such as tree. So feel what calls to you. Maybe if you're wanting a little bit more fire in your practice, you can use a block for support if you need to come into your warrior 3 pose, finding also known as the balancing stick. Long from heel to crown, firm core, either airplane arms, or for a little more fire, hands in steeple pose. Right in front of you, upper arms in line with the ears. You can play with that. So go as fiery and as juicy as you need, or as gentle and simple as you need. There's benefit to all of them. All of those qualities, all of those things that we cultivate with our asana practice on the mat invites in those energetic qualities into our life. So when we practice warrior poses, we're practicing that sense of power and cultivating that inner fire. When we practice balance poses, we're inviting a sense of balance and equanimity into our minds and heart, as well as the physical benefits of balance. So breathe and enjoy. And if you haven't switched to the other side, please do that now. Begin to wind down one side and take your balance exploration on the other side. And there's absolutely no shame in being near a wall if you need that for your support. As the song says, we all need somebody to lean on. So if you need to lean on the wall, do that. And when you feel complete with both sides, I invite you to come down onto the mat, onto your back, and just settle in for a moment in Shavasana just to integrate this part of our practice. And as you settle onto your back, you might want to take a moment of embrace. Make sure your block, at least one block, is nearby here, because we may use that block. Come to settle in on your back, hugging your thighs in toward your chest, rocking side to side. We'll do a little bit of core strengthening here. So settle into center on your back. And as your knees are lifted, bring your legs into eagle legs. So you're basically going to come into eagle on your back. So you might find it easier to wrap your ankle. So you're going to take the right thigh and wrap it on top of the left. And if you can, wrap the right ankle behind the left. And then right elbow comes underneath left as you wrap your arms, thumbs pointing toward you, into whatever your access is to eagle arms. So your elbows are pointed toward your thigh, and the right elbow is pointed, can make contact with the thigh, because the right one's underneath. As you inhale, touch the toes down in front of you. You keep your legs crossed, keep your elbows crossed as you reach your hands back behind you. So you're lengthening, inhale, exhale, contract, forearm to thigh. Peel the shoulders and upper back off of the mat, chin to chest, nose toward the navel or toward your elbows, inner elbows. Inhale, lengthen, toes touch down, hands reach back. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen. Contract. Lengthen. Contract. Let's do 2 more on your own. And this time, hold that contraction for 3 breaths. Chin to chest. Keep the shoulder blades peeled off of the mat. Oh, yeah. Ujjayi breath. And then slowly unwind your arms. Let the head and shoulders sink down. Keep the legs wrapped. Just bring your hands out to T position. And let the backs of the shoulders soften into the earth. Your palms face down, shoulder height. And as you exhale, draw the knees down toward the left side of your body so you come into a spinal twist, twisted root, turning your head toward the right. Now, if this feels like too strong a twist for you, not comfortable, you can always unwind your legs and just bring them into L shape, into inner thighs connected. So you can take a gentler twist if you need. See if you can level your shoulders in the same line as your hips. So you might need to do a little scooch over to the left with your shoulders. 2 more deep breaths here. And then bring the knees up to center. Unwind your legs, bring them up to center. Kind of do any kind of scooching or repositioning so that you're aligned in the center of your mat. And then we'll wrap eagle legs, bringing the left thigh on top. See if you can wrap the left ankle behind the right. If you can't wrap the ankle, if that doesn't work for your body, that's fine. And then left elbow comes underneath right. Fingers point away from you. Try not to crook the fingers, but keep them long. So as you inhale, toes touch down, fingers reach back to the back end of your mat. Exhale, contract, roll the head and shoulders off of the mat. Bring the forearm to the thigh as you draw everything in towards center. Inhale, toes touch down, hands reach back. Exhale, contract. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, contract. Inhale, long. Exhale, contract. 3 more. I lost count, but we'll just do 3 more.
And on your third one, see if you can hold for 3 deep breaths, keeping the upper back off of the mat, chin tucked. If you need to release, you can always let the head come back down. If it's too much, if it feels like a strain on your neck. When you're ready to release, slowly unwind the arms. Keep the legs wrapped, unless you need a modification, a different kind of twist. Hands plant down into the floor. Once again, T position. This time the knees come over toward the right. The crossed knees are going to stay roughly in line with your hips. And let the back of the left shoulder melt into the mat as you turn your head to look at your left hand. Maybe scooching the shoulders over toward the right a little bit to line up with the hips. Long, slow, deep breaths. And slowly unwinding your legs, coming back to center. Bring the feet in preparation for bridge pose. Actually, what I'd like to do is to give you a moment to do an inversion of your choice. Many people feel like their yoga practice is not complete without an inversion. So I'm going to leave that up to you, what inversion you'd like to do. If you want to take it into a shoulder stand and plow sequence, you can take that. If you want to take it into a bridge pose, which is also a kind of inversion, you can take that. If you have a headstand practice and want to take that, or simply place a block under the sacrum and do legs up in the air, you can take that. Some of you might want to do a little more challenging and vigorous practice, such as an arm balance, like Pincha Mayurasana against the wall if you're comfortable, or freestanding if you feel that's available for you. I'm not going to give instruction in that today, but just giving you that as a suggestion for those of you who are exploring that pose. So take another minute or so to explore some inversion. And bringing your upside down sequence to a close, what I want to invite us to take this morning is more of a restorative type of bridge pose, what I call the long bridge. There's probably another name for it, but Here, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right view here. Okay. Now, taking your block, you're going to place the block underneath your sacrum, and it can either go in the flattest setting, which we call baby bear. For those of you who haven't heard me give this explanation, this is what they taught us at Kripalu. This is baby bear, this is mama bear, and this is papa bear. Okay? Papa bear, mama bear, baby bear. So for this, you probably don't want to be in papa bear. You could be in baby bear or mama bear, depending on the level of back extension you're comfortable with and how big and long your torso is. So I'm going to do mine in mama bear, which is the second level of height. So I'm going to position my feet for bridge. I'm going to roll the hips up enough to slide the block right underneath the sacrum area. You don't want it right in the sensitive lumbar area. You want a little bit below, so the edge of the block actually lines up with the top of the butt crack. And then from here, and this is where you may decide that you want it in a lower setting, going to extend the legs long. If this doesn't feel comfortable for your body, you can always stay with a supported bridge with knees bent. Otherwise, see if you can explore what happens here if you lengthen your legs and then reach the hands back behind you. And I like to think of my body as being like one of those curved bridges that you see in Japanese gardens, you know, over a little lotus pond, that kind of arched wooden bridge. They have one of those at Cass Park over a little creek. So that's what your body is doing here. But once you find the comfortable height of your block underneath the sacrum, you can just hang out here and relax into it. Let the block do the work of this pose for you. And just let yourself breathe and enjoy here. See if you can relax the backs of the shoulders into the floor. If having your hands reach back behind you doesn't work, you can have them out to the side. You can explore and play. You can even play with stretching long a little bit if that feels better to juice this up and then relax into it. Backs of the hands rest on the floor. And just noticing where you're feeling sensation. Keeping your awareness gently riding on the inhale and the exhale. And then slowly let the arms circle down toward your sides. Bend your knees so the soles of the feet come to the mat. Gently lift the hips a little to slide the block out of the way, and very slowly roll down from the upper back down through the middle back, one vertebra at a time. Slow motion.
Lowering now the low back and the sacrum. Draw the right thigh in toward the ribs. Extend the left leg into wind-relieving pose here just for a moment. Let the whole back body that's touching the mat grow long. And then switch legs, extend the right leg, draw the left thigh in toward the left ribs, press out through the right heel, reach back with the crown. And then draw both legs in toward the belly and take it into your happy baby. Bringing the hands either to the soles of the feet, to the big toes, or the ankles, or the outside of the feet, wherever you can grab the feet. Soles of the feet face the sky. Inner thighs frame the rib cage. Legs make an L shape. And press the sacrum down toward the mat. So your tailbone is going to point toward the edge of your mat. Maybe a little bit of swaying side to side if that feels good. Be a playful, happy baby. Ask that little baby in you, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And it's never too late to answer that question. Bring the soles of the feet together. Draw the feet clasped together in toward the belly. Press the knees away. Variation of Baddha Konasana. Bound angle. And then releasing the feet. Find any last movements that feel good before coming into Shavasana. If there's a final twist that would serve you well, or maybe bound angle with the feet resting on the mat, just whatever soft, winding down movement would help you come to a sense of completion. Take just a few more moments now to do that. And then settle into corpse pose, Shavasana. And let yourself fully melt and sink in to your mat and into the earth. Let your body surrender into Mother Earth. Let any activity in the mind also dissolve into the earth with the power of the exhale. This is your one wild and precious life. Wild means natural, in its natural state. Unimpeded by the chatter of the mind, the incessant thinking, or by worry, or projecting into the future, or ruminating about the past. Your wild and precious being is unbounded and expansive and free. So as you surrender to the earth below you, invite prana, that precious life force, life energy, into your body with each in-breath. And with each out-breath, let it be an offering more fully to a letting go and releasing into what this wild and precious existence holds for you. Tell me what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do with your one wild and precious life. What you're gonna do, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do with your one wild and precious life. Golden sun slips down behind the purple hill. Colors fade so fast. Doesn't everything always die too soon? Is there anything that lasts? Tell me what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do with your one wild and precious life. What you're gonna do, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do with your one wild and precious life. And I have fallen in the meadow on my knees. This is how I pray, to gaze with awe and wonder at the tiny and the vast, knowing all things slip away. Tell me what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do with your one wild and precious life. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do with your one wild and precious life. So let me amble gently through these verdant fields. Let me walk lightly on this earth, with reverence for the miracle of every passing day, and for this precious human birth. Tell me what you're gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do with your one wild and precious life. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do with your one wild and precious life. Slowly bring some movement into your fingers and toes as you deepen your breath. And find any movements that bring you back into your body and into the present moment. And when you're ready, you can roll over onto one side. Pause for a moment there. And slowly bring yourself up to a seated position, your asana, yogic seat. Once again, we can reconnect with that triangle of support, sitting bones and tailbone rooting down into the earth, crown of the head lifting to the infinite sky, lotus of the heart blossoming open, shoulders soft, away from the ears. It's going to be a scorcher of a day, so I'd like to just take a few moments to close with Shitali Pranayam, which is the cooling breath, so we can cool down from our practice today, and this will be a practice that you can come back to at any point during the day where you feel like you need to cool down. So we're going to inhale through the mouth through a tube in the tongue. So if you can, stick out your tongue out of your mouth and make a little, what I call the cannoli shape, making a tube with the tongue. If your tongue doesn't do that, which some people genetically can't do that with their tongue, you can just suck the air in through the teeth. Just bring the tips of the teeth together, open the mouth and go. And you can also do that through the tongue going sideways. Curl the tongue sideways and let the breath come in through the sides of the tongue. So either like this, or like this, or like this. However you can create that sense of coolness of the breath coming in. So we're going to breathe in through that cool tube in the tongue or through the teeth, feeling the cool air brushing the tongue going to the back of the throat. Close the lips gently, hold, and exhale through the nose. Exhaling the warm air. Inhale through the tube in the tongue. Cool breath in. Lips close. Hold for a moment. Exhale. Warmth exhales. Draw the cool air in. Close the lips. Pause. Exhale through the nose, releasing excess heat from the body. You can also send that cool air up into the brain by inhaling the cool. When you close the lips, just press the tip of the tongue up to the upper palate. And exhale through the nose. Inhale, cool breath. Hold. Tip of the tongue to the palate. Exhale through the nose. Continue at your own pace for a few more rounds. Shitali Pranayam, cooling breath. And let this next round be your last one. And simply return to natural breath with the lips closed, the eyes closed. Noticing what's alive in you now. Once again, bringing that exquisite attention to every sensation. Perhaps you can feel the life force in your cells dancing. Then bringing the palms together in front of the heart. May we cultivate that spirit of prayer today. Prayer meaning paying attention and noticing the miracles, the tiniest miracles, and the vast ones as well, the big ones as well. And honoring that one wild and precious life that is available to you right here and right now. Let's join our voices together in the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Namaste.